We have two huge updates for today's video. One talks about the Democratic Party and how they're struggling to keep voters, with far-left journalists now attacking them on air. The other talks about the new COLA increase prediction, and we're getting some good news. Make sure to stick around until the end, but real quick, if you want to keep yourself informed when it comes to Social Security, US politics, and global news that affects us, then be sure to subscribe and become a civic patriot today. Democrats have argued for years now that President Trump is bad for the economy, even though most of us are aware that we've never faced an economic challenge as huge as Bidenomics. And yet Democrats are still using the same old tired script. And the bad news for them is that the media is starting to turn on them.
All I can tell you is that the inflation rate itself was 2.7% in the most recent read year over year, versus it got to a high of 9% under Biden. Stocks are at record highs. Unemployment is 4.2%. That's full employment. The GDP was 3%. The border is actually secure. We've got trade deals with EU, Japan, many more in the works, and trillions of dollars of foreign investment coming here. Iran's nuclear ambitions have been set back indefinitely. And I just wrote down a few things. So I just have to ask you, where is the calamity that you're talking about?
The biggest issue that they face is that they're out of excuses. They said that Trump was the problem as to why they couldn't close the border. They kept insisting that legislation was needed. But as we've all seen, the borders are safe and the president didn't even need Congress for it. And while I understand that the economy isn't perfect, it's better compared to when things were under Biden. And then there's the lack of support. Democrats are now giving up on their own party, with many of them not even registering to vote. Let's listen to Molly Jong-Fast as she tries to explain why Republicans are outnumbering them in voter registration within 30 states.
Why are Democrats not, why are the polls bad? Why are they not breaking through? And I think it's a couple things. I think one is the people who are breaking through are brave. Right. They talk like humans. They make the case, and again, it's like Pritzker's chief of staff told me. It's not necessarily left versus center. It's fight versus cave. And the people who fight get support. And the people who cave or are mealy-mouthed or are, very sort of corporatist-y, that crew, the crew that's afraid, cannot break through, does not appeal to voters. The question is, it's only going to be for people who really feel authentic, right?
Sherrod's never been afraid of his shadow.
Exactly.
He's always spoken his mind.
Chris Murphy, Sherrod Brown, Mondami, these people, AOC, they're not all exactly the same politically, but they are the same in the fact that they're brave and they break through.
So she wants more politicians like Mamdani and AOC? She's suggesting that far-left radicals are the hope for this party. I think that's a great idea. And whoever's feeding them with these suggestions should get a promotion, because if they go by this trend, they'll never win a national election ever again. For context, from 2020 to 2024, Democratic Party lost 2.1 million voters, while Republicans gained 2.4 million. This kind of chaos is causing some die-hard supporters to snap. Watch as MSNBC goes on the offensive after a Democrat says the same excuse all over again.
The party has failed to really engage with men. That is a failure of the party. The party has also failed to
so let me get to the point two.
Okay.
Number two, the steepest declines in registration are among men and younger voters.
It makes
How do you
sense.
fix it?
No, it makes perfect sense. Look, I think Democrats have kind of become the party of the snowflake in a way that doesn't resonate with a lot of guys in terms of the way that we communicate with each other and talk. And so Republicans have seized that. But they're frauds. Republicans have done everything that sort of opposes the working class in America. Democrats just have to talk about these things differently and engage and not take men for granted, which to some capacity has happened.
How long have you been coming on this show?
Forever.
Yeah, and have you been saying that forever?
I know, listen, we're turning a tanker. It takes a little bit of time, but it's coming.
Moving on, let's talk about the COLA increase for 2026. We are getting some good news, but if you asked me to be blunt, I believe that seniors need so much more than this. But let's get to it. The expected COLA increase for 2026 was set at 2.5% by May. This was projected by the Senior Citizens League. By June, that projection went up to 2.6%, and by July, they had it at 2.7%. And while it's good that the trend is going up, it's not going up high enough for many seniors to actually feel relief. A survey of almost 2/3 of seniors on Social Security found that 94% of them weren't happy with the 2.5% COLA increase that was given for 2025, citing that it didn't keep up with inflation. I have to agree, 2.5% was way too small given the expenses that seniors have. A huge factor that I've talked about countless times would be the basis of this COLA increase. The SSA still uses the CPIW to determine these increases, even though the CPIE exists, which easily reflects what seniors are actually spending on. This is kind of an advocacy of mine, and I've said this on many previous videos. The Social Security Administration should take notes and understand that the COLA increase should be based on seniors. But again, that's something that Congress has to face. But do you agree with that idea? If so, make sure to let me know down in the comments. Also, if you want to stay updated on Social Security, US politics, and everything else that's happening around us, then consider subscribing to the Civic Trigger. As always, thank you for your time. Talk to you in the next one.